Welcome back to the GSL Code A. Got to see a little bit of a preview of patch 2.1, which just hit Korea today. I saw the StarCraft II Korea Twitter tweeting about that. Got to see Kevin's beard. It's pretty awesome. Yep. And now we're going into our winners match to see who's going straight to Code S. It's either the Porcupine Zerg or Sora.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good game. I mean, Sora has been impressing for a long time now, especially in his Protoss versus Terran, but now he's going up against the Zerg player. And the matchup against DRG here, that should be a really intense one. I want to see what those two can do, because the first series that both of them played were already very entertaining, but DongRaeGu especially against tackled so strong against the Terran player. Now against Sora, it's going to be a very different ball game. So what can he do here? Habitation Station, the gold base, is being the first map.
Yeah, Habitation Station, a great map to start on, because it's just so unique. We've seen players just try to riskily take that third base. We saw Super trip over himself and fall down the stairs on this map, trying to take the gold base, dying to a slow lane run by essentially. We'll see how this one plans out. One of these two players is going to Code S, either be it DRG or Sora. Jump into Habitation Station.
Sora versus DongRaeGu.
Starting to the top right of the map on Habitation Station, we have our Zerg player successful against the Terran in best of 3 #1. It is DRG. Looking super determined here against his Protoss opponent in the winners match in the GSL Code A group. And starting to the top left, we have for CJ Entus, it is Sora, his opponent here, Protoss.
He always has this like flashing on his face, and you can tell that the reason why is because he hotkeys a location, most likely his natural, and then jumps between it and his main base, either that or a scouting probe, but in this case he has no scouting probe, so the reason why the flashing occurs on his face is because he's pressing like F2 and then F1, F2, F1, just jumping between his bases, or his base to B, as he hasn't yet taken the natural.
This is going to be an exciting series, and especially on a map like Habitation Station, where if you have an advantage, you can take that gold base and try to get even further ahead in the match. We have an opening with a gateway here for Sora, and DRG, on the other hand, is currently at 15. Looks like he wants to actually go into a hedge first play. And from the timing, he's not going to take the gold, which we've seen a couple of times. He's actually going to take his normal natural here.
Gets away with it. And even has a drone to spot for cannoning. So plays it safe. And I'm getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here, but do you think DRG is going to... Is he going to Daedalus? Is he going to Daedalus it?
Well, first of all, I want to know how much he... Okay, the gateway was already spotted. DRG is like, nah, that's going to happen. You cancel your pylon. Silly you. I think DRG, if he loses a game against Sora, is going to go for Daedalus. The map is just too good to pass on. I don't think that we're going to see anything. I mean,
basically,
so Stronghold is a great map as well. We've seen live picks Frost over a map like Daedalus, but I would be surprised if DRG, if he loses a game, doesn't pick Daedalus. Why not take that advantage with you that you have on a map like this?
The only times we've seen Protoss players not get Daedalus picked against them, the only way they've avoided it so far is either playing against Life or losing 2-0 Ozu. And those are the two ways to avoid it. And we'll see how that one pans out, because this is something to think about in this series. For both of these players, it's not as dire, because in Sora's perspective here, he knows that if he loses this series, he will never have to play another Protoss versus Zerg on Daedalus for the rest of the group, because then DRG will be out of the group and he won't ever have to play this matchup again. So for him, he has a maximum of 1 time he has to play on it if DRG chooses it, and he's able to beat DRG once. So just some things to think about in the early game here. So if he's only gonna have to play the map a maximum of 1 time in this matchup, because if he loses here, then there's no more Zergs in the group. DRG's out of the group.
Well, if he wins here, then
he's out. So maximum of 1 time.
It's the only Zerg, and he didn't play him in the first round. The only way where he can meet an opponent in this group system that we have twice is if you play him in the opening match.
Yep. It's true. Speed is halfway done. DRG pulls all the way out. There's no wall actually at the front, and he's making quite a few Zerglings. He's identified there's no wall, and he's going to go up here and continue to poke away at it.
The opening was just great for DRG because he scouted that he's up against the gateway and got the expansion first, and now there is no wall and he's moving in as we speak. That Zealot moving away and being surrounded here by Zealot. He's going down and a few of those probes will follow, but we have a Stalker now at the front. How many probes is he able to get?
He's making 16 Lings, Keller. He's not done with this yet. He just wants to stop the wall up if he can.
I would go for Zerglings now if I was him. You already break through and you know you're in a good spot. The question rather is, will he be able to break through again? And that might not be the case here. He needs a lot more Zerglings than that if he really wants. He cannot feed them one by one to his opponent, but he has only a very limited area to attack those Stalkers anyways, and walls set up behind this. Stalker goes down.
Yeah, this is not going to work.
No.
He trades a ton of Larva and Lings for a Stalker. And I guess 2 pylons that were made extra here.
Well, he's getting quite a lot of these pylons. That's a lot of Zerglings. And he's breaking through, attacking that gateway.
He needs to make another gateway. He can make another gateway here, though.
He's running out of resources. He doesn't have the money anymore.
He could have made one more gateway. I'm a little bit disappointed to see that he did not.
No, he couldn't. He was down to 50 minerals. He had no mineral.
Well, he blocks off his main. There's a gateway, but it doesn't matter because his Lings are left side. But
Lings are in, the sentry gone. The force field will disappear in a second. That's 22 army supply against 6.
And here we go. The Ling is actually chasing the sentry down. 1 force field available, doesn't use it for some reason.
The harvester count, on the other hand, this is the one thing that we shouldn't neglect here. It's 33 against 18 in Sora's favor. If Sora somehow survives, if he's able to throw this back long enough, then he's going to win the game.
He's already mining so much more than DRG, and the overcharge is done. The cannon, he needs the probes to buy time for that force field. It's too late. Some of the units get trapped on the outside, but he's going to lose so many probes regardless.
Sentry goes down. Oh no, it actually survives. He's trying to get in here to finally kill it.
Warp gate research is done, and he can warp in more sentries.
+1 has been started, but suddenly there's no mining anymore, and now the photon overcharge is not an issue. He doesn't have the energy on the MSC to really do anything here, and more Lings are running across the map. This natural is doomed.
Looks like it. I want to see the energy on the Mothership for a lot. Got a lot of time left to go for him to be able to save this. It's not going to happen. 22 kills, 30 kills.
Oh, super aggressive here by DRG, and he is going to take that game. The Harvest is, of course, still in favor of Sora, but that doesn't matter anymore because as soon as the Nexus is gone, it's 2 base against 1, and so many resources lost for the Protoss player.
Losing the Nexus almost supply blocks him. Losing the gateway here as well. DRG is transitioning into drones back at home, and then he's going to have total control over the rest of this game. One more pylon has to be killed here.
Yeah, he can take the gold base now too. He has complete map control. Getting that natural up is going to be so difficult for Sora. The one thing that DRG really wants to do is get this Overlord in position that he sees if there's any kind of shenanigans going on the main base, some type of one base play. But he's already transitioning out with a lot of harvesters being built. Suddenly he's on the same amount of harvesters and has the better income. He can start to take his gases, tech up, and even get the gold.
Yeah. Mothership core floating across the map now to get some scouting information. That's all he can hope for. Doesn't have any sentries that have enough energy because he was all the sentries he built, he was panicking with them and dropping as many force fields as he could to try to survive.
Oh, wow.
There's that sentry.
That's scary.
Finally, and oh my god, he doesn't even know.
That is super scary. And here we go. He's moving in.
Way too many Lings. He doesn't even force field on time. He was not expecting this.
Yeah, there are way too many Zerglings there. The +1 attack upgrade, yes, it's done for the Zealots, but still, this is just way too... Oh, actually.
He attacked the plates with some of his Zerglings too. He did not control that very well.
Wow, that's surprising to me. There were only 2 Zealots, and even with +1 attack upgrade, I really thought that it would be able to kill all the Lings.
I thought he had more Lings in the force fields on top of the sentries, but he didn't. He only had maybe like 4.
Yeah.
I thought he had like 8 in there. It's hard to see, but...
That was a scary moment regardless, and Sora dropping those force fields was able to hold on, so now he gets the space. DRG takes the 3rd. I'm still a little bit surprised that he doesn't take the gold. But yeah, he takes 1 farther away from the Protoss player.
Losing all those Zerglings actually puts the game into a not as bad spot for Sora. I mean, he's still behind, but he's now able to secure his natural, and he has Twilight Council tech up, so he can start +2. Can also go for Blink. These force fields not the best, but at least he gets some of those Zerglings.
I mean,
they weren't energy efficient.
DRG has now the time. Oh, the Sora has now a little bit of. He has now the 2nd base complete. That's what I basically wanted to say, and that was the time that he had to bridge. Roaches are now there. we don't have upgrades for DRG, so Sora with a +1 attack upgrade for his ground forces is still in a decent spot. The third base is very important to DRG. He's starting to tech here, but his harvester count is still kind of low at 52. He's getting that advantage here, but the +2 attack upgrade for Sora has been started, and his Twilight Council is completed. And this is not as bad as it could have been. At the beginning, when the base fell, it really looked like DRG would win this game for sure, but even though the Zerg player is ahead, Sora might have a fighting chance here if he wins a battle.
I would like to have seen DRG take the gold as his third base because his worker count is still smaller than he would like it to be in this type of situation. But as it is, he's got a Probe Zerling here, which is going to be very annoying with no detection to actually put that back. He's going to have to use a cannon. And I think maybe the reason why he didn't take the gold base was because he lost all of his Zerlings and he was like, I lose my map control, and what if he attacks me and hits my third? I just still don't think Sora would have enough. But he can always take the gold base as his fourth, and then he'll have that boost of income later. And that would be alright too. There's the robotics finally, but that Zerling on the third base is going to still be there for a little while. Two robos.
Most important thing right now is that Sora isn't dead yet. And he has a 2-base economy now. The Zergs just established his third, and the double robo here is super interesting. It looks like we're gonna see quite a lot of aggression with the Immortals here. Infestation Pit is now coming into the game as well. But the Zerglings without any kind of upgrades, it's iffy.
Well, the double robo I feel is like emergency panic button being pressed because he's like, well, he's got a lot of roaches, possibly I gotta make sure I have enough Immortals to defend this.
Do you think it might be a mistake that he just by accident build a second one?
I don't think so necessarily. I think it's more so he just really wants to get his Immortal production up, and he needs an Observer too, and he needs to get Immortals out, so he's like, I don't have time, I need 2 robos right now, and my Robotech is so late. I think it's intentional. Yep. One robo, or one Observer, one Immortal, and then go into double Immortal production later on. Colossus even cancels the Observer and goes into double Immortals. He's like really about that because he doesn't want to die to this push that DRG has going across the map.
Well, that push is already on its way, and a 4th base is being killed. The Observer, by the way, not cancelled, it finished.
Oh, it did? Okay.
It's on was on the unit counting station there for a second. Bottom right, we have that additional hatch being built, and DRG is still ahead, starting his own upgrades. The +1 attack upgrade is already about to be completed. And we have him going into Spire now, starting to spread his creep and following into a more heavy macro game. One of the main reasons why Sora is still in this is really that DRG cut drones so early in the game that Sora was massively ahead in the harvest account, and that helped him a bit.
Yeah. There's he's making a Warp Prism right now. It looks like he may just try to attack with this, like you described, and he's going across, blinking on top of these roaches, catching a few of those for free. He's got the sentries over here to force out the Zerglings, and he's just trying to control this map, using the terrain against DRG a little bit here. DRG has by far the much better production. He's getting Infestors out right now, but needs to buy a little bit more time.
The Infestors are going to be super scary, and he's trying to buy that time by just going in from behind over and over again, taking those pylons down if he can. And just forcing the Protoss player to fall back and save his proxy pylon, but now the Warp Prism is there, and that changes things a little bit. But the first 2 Infestors are about to be completed, and we have more roaches at the right side, and here we go.
Those Infestors could potentially be a big game changer if he can get the fungals on those sentries. Stalkers blink forward. He has the Warp Prism to pick up the Immortals as well. Great time warp on these roaches. The Infestor also having trouble getting in there, but there's the fungal on most of these Protoss units.
But the force fields are beautiful, shielding the second part of the army, and Sora can actually do this.
He can do this again as well if he has enough energy. I don't know if he has enough to do a full wall. We're going to find out right now. Time warps go down. Decent force fields again. The Stalkers blink away.
Oh god, the sentries are completely exposed. All of them go down, and that's it for the force fields. The Warp Prism is trying to save those Immortals, and he really needs to do that. More and more Zerglings are streaming in, and Sora is starting to lose grounds. The drones are joining the battle too.
Just way too much production here for DRG. Overwhelming amount of Zerglings forcing this back. There's no third base. There's no transition.
There's no follow-up.
He's starting to Bay and a Dark Shrine out of just total desperation. He's flabbergasted here. He has nothing he can do to come back in this game. There's one Immortal here that's going to do almost nothing.
I really like what Sora did there, though. He took a shot, and that was a nice effort that they had.
Yeah,
especially with the unit control here, when you use those force fields against the roaches, against that second army of DRG, just zoning them out. That looked scary for a moment. That was really well done. And right now, I mean, what he was lacking was the high ground vision. he didn't see that army going around the corner and coming in from above, so he couldn't force field in time. And now that gold is blocked, DRG is already up to 160 supply again. He is tripling his opponent's army supply. He has the Infestors now in the game, the +2 attack upgrade to be finished.
Basically, DRG is saying, I'm not going to let you take this third base.
Yeah.
You cannot take it. If you just say, okay, I'm not even going to try, then okay, I win the game because I already have 4 bases up, I have the better tech, I have the better economy. So he just says no, and he's just going to go over here. I don't even think he needs to commit to this attack. Funneling those Immortals is not going to do him a whole lot in the long run, but he's just being annoying. He has still Zergling burrowed here. Probe can't take it. Sorry. Sorry, Probey. Not happening.
Yeah. Zergling's burrowed everywhere. He can't get another base.
Yeah, they're literally on every possible expansion on the left side of the map. He's going to lose the Probe. And then the Zergling can actually just go back and reburrow.
And the main base for Sora is out of mineral patches. So he has mining from 1 base against the mining from 3 bases for DRG. And DRG can claim another base whenever he wants to. He is already about to max out a 200 supply.
DTs he wants to use to change this game. Also doing harassment in the main base. He's trying to draw the attention of DRG into multiple different directions, and so far he's been relatively successful with this harassment. Yeah. There's a great fumble on that, though, preventing a retreat.
And the DTs are going to do quite some damage. The problem still is that DongRaeGu is going to prevent the third base. Sora is now building that third, but this is something that DRG already knows, so the first thing that he's going to do once he eliminated the DTs is maybe drop a spawn, a spine, and then walk to the left side of the map to contest this third.
Zealot's trying to pick away here at these drones. They get cleaned up finally. And a lift into the main, or rather into the Warp Prism to escape with the rest of them. That's always going to be a threat that DRG has to consider. That's why he's making Spine Crawlers in his main base. Spores up as well for the DTs. Infestation Pit was targeted by 1 DT, but it doesn't actually finish killing it, which means that further Infestors can be made. Third base, like you said, so late. Yeah, exactly. DRG's drone light, but like he has such a great army, he doesn't have to drone up too hard right now.
He's doing exactly what I just said. Spores and spines in the base, and that is natural, and then he walks across the map to take this third down.
Yeah, and he's got so many Infestors with this. There's no way this third base can be held. Even with the Immortals and the Colossi, with perfect micro, maybe. This is still an annoying situation. He can not only get the Spine Crawler here, but possibly the Queen, and then maybe the Infestation Pit.
Yeah, he can take this, but this third base is much more important for DRG to take that down. And oh my god, the fungal hits everything.
The fungal has literally trapped everything, like you just said, and he's just going to chain it. Once the Roaches get through those force fields, that's going to be all she wrote. He's got a surround on this army. Now down to 37 supply. Warp Prism harass still ongoing, but like you said, this is the more important objective for DRG. He finally cleans this up at home.
DRG wouldn't even have minded losing that base that he has at the right side. He still has so much income with the additional satellite bases that exist on the map for him. Taking down that third base of Sora is much more important, since Sora is currently so limited with his income. And this is game. 16 army supply against 100. GG! And game over. DRG takes game number 1 and is a single map away from advancing to Code S.
Yeah, he's looking solid today, man. He gets ahead with that wing run by. That's actually what started to win him this game. Sora not looking too stressed, just having a snack. And I feel like DRG is really on fire today. Like he's in the zone. He's in his mode. And if you let DRG get like that, he is going to play some sick games. It's that hairstyle, man. It's got to be affecting his mood.
It's the hairstyle. Screw preparation, it's all about the hair.
You know how much time it probably took him to get that ready?
The what?
That hair. You know how much time it probably took him to get that ready? I would say at least like 10 minutes.
Not a lot, because that was probably done by the makeup ladies that we have.
No, I think he had that actually when he came to the studio before he even saw it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Unless he came like earlier before us, and when I saw him coming, he already had it, so he might have done it before and then came in again. But regardless, it looks really good, and so does his play today, so it matches him so well. That's part of the reason why I like it. Sora is a great player, though, can turn the series around, can actually take the 2-1 himself, but he's got to win 2 games in a row. And the map, what's it going to be? I feel like Yunsu might be the choice. That's what I'd pick.
Yeah, could definitely be Yunsu. I mean, he has a lot of choices here. I think for DRG there's only one. Yunsu is just such a popular map these days for Terran and Protoss in general, especially Protoss love this map.
It's really easy to take a third base. It's very safe compared to some of our other maps. It just feels a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable. he knows also Sora that if he wins this map, he's probably going to have to play a game on Daedalus Point.
Yeah.
He's probably trying to keep that out of his mind for as long as possible right now, not focus on that unless it does happen that he does have to play on it.
Well, DongRaeGu is getting ready, another map win, and he is going to Code S. Sora, on the other hand, he is clapping his hands, clapping himself up, gets the adrenaline flowing. He wants to take this and go to Code S right away. He doesn't want to go to the consolation match. Will he be able to succeed and bring us into a third game? Will it be Daedalus Point? If it comes to that, the choice for DRG, we're going to find out now. DRG versus Sora, game number 2 at the GSL Code A.